Persona 3 Remake rumors are back in full effect today, but what does this mean for you, the player? And what do you have in store for you with Persona for 2023? Let's talk about it. Now, Persona 3 Remake rumors are nothing new. They've been going on and off for years now, but the discussion around them seems to have upticked a bit, and honestly, a remake makes sense. Portable is about to drop on the 19th for a lot of players, and people who will experience that story and cast of characters for the first time. But Portable is wildly different than the rest of the franchise. It plays far more as a visual novel than its counterparts, where instead of walking to a location, you just click on a menu where you want to visit. Combat has been overhauled from its Fez counterpart, giving you access to control your party members in the depths of Tartarus. And an entirely new protagonist is available with corresponding alterations to many of the key social links in the game. That will be out in the coming weeks, but if we also get, at some point in the future, a fully fledged Persona 5 Royal style remake of Persona 3, well, will it be worth it for you? And that will honestly depend on what you want out of it and what exactly a Persona 5 Royal style remake would entail. Would social links be given additional benefits that can be utilized in the combat like Persona 5? Are there additional mini-games like dots that you can choose to do for various benefits? Are any other social links altered at all, giving you new cause to rerun them? Are the cutscenes upscaled or redone? Is the answer an epilogue that was included in Persona 3 Fez, but not in the upcoming Portable, included or renovated? There's a lot of questions and uncertainty when it comes to a full-blown remake of Persona 3, and what it would truly entail. They could try and keep the original feel and gameplay of the original game with just a revamped camera and graphics, or they can really alter that gameplay formula to bring it more in line with Persona 5. Just the simple question of whether or not party members can become exhausted in Tartarus and leave you mid-session would drastically alter how you actually play the game, and how much you can do in each dark hour chunk of gameplay. Persona 3 was constructed with a variety of systems intermingling with one another to give a unique sense of challenge and tension, where you are constantly managing your resources and party members, not just on a fight-by-fight basis, but also throughout your entire play session. And if you change any one thing, all of a sudden, longer dark hour sessions could be possible, reducing how many times you actually have to do the dark hour, which could free up those other nights to do other activities. If there is indeed a remake coming, and let's be honest, we've heard this tale before of a Persona 3 remake, and if and when it comes, or is announced, these are the kinds of choices you will be faced with, whether or not playing the remake is worth it to you, the player. Personally, I'd be interested just to see what the game would look like with revamped graphics, and I'd probably find value in that myself, but that is up to you to decide, because what you are looking for may be entirely different than what I'm looking for. I'd personally be fine with them making significant changes to the formula as well, though I hope the social links and the overall story of the game remain largely untouched. I'm not big on the answer myself, so if they want to change that or add to it, that would be a benefit to me. But if you were someone who really liked the answer and what it did to the Persona 3 story, that could alter your opinion as well. But let's pivot the discussion a little bit to what I believe is the more likely announcement for 2023, Persona 6. It's been years since base Persona 5 came out, and people were clearly disappointed that it wasn't announced or at least teased last year during the anniversary that we were getting a Persona 6. I mean, we pretty much are. Let's be honest, they would be stupid not to do it with how well Persona 5 did, but I've gotten comments in the past, it would be nice for them to just at least admit it. And Persona players, or for newcomers to the series, will be what announcement do we end up getting? Will we get a Persona 6 announcement? Or will we get an announcement for Persona 3 Remake? Maybe we'll get both, or maybe neither, in a worst case scenario. Now personally, I'm not certain that we will get both for a similar reason as to what I just said. If Persona 6 is still years off, and the remake is closer in release or vice versa, then maybe they just decide, screw it, gloves are off, give us your attention. And maybe this was their idea all along, just one massive media push after the ports with a Persona 3 Remake and Persona 6 marketing marathon. The more I say it, the more it kind of makes sense to me. Let's say, for instance, we have Persona 3 Remake this year and then Persona 6 next year. I can see them waiting a little bit to announce Persona 6, if they want to announce Persona 3 Remake first. Now, I've read about it somewhere on an internet forum, right? I believe I talked about it in a previous video that I'll leave a link to in the description down below on my theories for Persona 6 as a whole, but I once read somewhere that Persona 6 would be 3 games after Persona 3. Numbered games at least. We'd have Persona 4, then 5, and then the third game would be 6. There's a potential 3 days after he died, he rose metaphor to be had there, if Persona 6 is a story follow-up in some way to Persona 3 Fez. If you're familiar with Persona 3's story, you probably noticed there's quite a few Messiah metaphors in that game. Hell, there's a Persona called Messiah. And if Persona 6 is a story follow-up in some way to Persona 3 Fez, either directly or indirectly, going with Persona 3 portable ports, then a Persona 3 remake would make sense, wouldn't it? If you want to make sure that people know that story before you release a game following it up, when Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5 are kind of the games that the series are known for nowadays, at least from who I've talked to, or I've heard from, like, those are the really popular games in the series. They're also available on modern platforms. And let's be honest, Persona 5 is the one that really blew the franchise up in popularity. Like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't a follow-up, but if it is, I imagine it will largely just be Elizabeth with us. Maybe she would return as a Velvet Room attendant for the game, or as a guest attendant. She's personally my favorite attendant, so I'd be down for that too. Could serve as good follow-up to her story in Persona 4 Arena, where she is still on her own mission to rescue Dobro. Now, is it likely? Here or there, honestly. Could have been the idea at one point, but maybe their ideas have changed, especially with the success of Persona 5. Maybe they just want to tell a different story, and maybe this was their plan all along, or maybe they only thought of it recently. We don't know what they're thinking. But I trust them to tell a compelling story either way. I imagine it will largely, if it is a follow-up, right? I imagine it would largely just have us be with Elizabeth, helping her out and dealing with Nyx for good or something. Could also act as a return to form to a more darker tone for the game as a whole, like Persona 3 was. For those who are not aware, Persona 3 major themes tend to deal with death. Persona 4 is all about finding yourself, and Persona 5 is all about standing up for yourself. A whole bunch of other themes there as well, let's be honest. For instance, Persona 5 is a complete socio-political breakdown of the current state of Japan. But there's so many other different themes and topics that they can cover with Persona as a series, because it's a formula that works with storytelling, that works with character development and character growth. They have a recipe to introduce characters, make you care about them, and get attached to them very quickly. And throughout a 100 plus to 200 hour JRPG adventure that you may play once or twice. That's a very powerful way to tell multiple different stories with an overlying theme. So what will Persona 6 be about? Where will it be set? Will it be a follow-up to Persona 3? These are all questions we don't know yet. They haven't even announced the game yet, we just assume that it's coming. Or at least I assume. Same thing with Persona 3 Remake. I believe we will eventually get a Persona 3 Remake. Will it be this year? That's up for debate. We don't know that. Maybe. Maybe they've been working on it silently in the background for quite a while. It's possible. But I feel this year for Persona as a series will be really defined upon what these announcements are and where we determine the future of the franchise is going based on these announcements. Do we get a Persona 6 announcement? Do we get a Persona 3 Remake announcement? Or do we just not get anything? These are questions we don't know yet. We have to wait and see. But we do have Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden coming out later this month. Persona 4 Golden's already available on the PS Vita and Steam. I don't know why I forgot the name of Steam for a second there. And if you're unsure if you want to play Persona 4 Golden or not, if you don't have the Steam version, I would highly recommend it if you love Persona. It's a great game, with one of my favorite stories, and honestly, probably my favorite cast of characters in all of Persona. At least the ones that I've played or watched. They're a really endearing group. Now, Persona 3 Portable is the game I probably have the least experience with compared to all the other Persona 3 onwards games. Now, I've never even beaten Persona 3. I just know the story. I've seen it, right? Like, I've watched playthroughs of Persona 3 Fez, but not really ever Portable. But Portable is a different kind of game. It's a different kind of experience. It gives you more gameplay leeway than Persona 3 Fez did, but the narrative structure and the open world navigation to it is treated far more like a visual novel. And that may be a pro or con to quite a few people. Having the female protagonist may also be a massive pro to a lot of people. To me, I like having the option. I like having people have a choice as to what kind of experience they want with the game. Again, only time will really tell what the future Persona has to offer, but we can at least make a prediction to make our theories right now, because I believe we are in store for a big announcement this year. Just the nature of that announcement is kind of up in the air. So I'm going to call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And click the bell icon to be notified for when I upload in the future. I would really appreciate that. And leave a comment down below with your thoughts and your predictions for the nature of the announcements we probably will get for Persona in 2023. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.